Right, good morning and happy post-Thanksgiving. Into December we go. Games for this week. Got my car on. It's really cold outside, so we will see if that is too loud for the video in editing, but I think it'll be alright. Videos. Games for this week. The number one was Buccaneers and Panthers, a good divisional rival. The Panthers are actually a lot better than we thought they'd be. And the Buccaneers I still think are the best in the division. Sorry, Falcons. So it's nice to see the best and the worst team in the division actually play close and go into overtime. Broncos-Browns I'd say was second. A lot of scoring going on down to the end. Kind of heartbreaking for the Browns, but it was a good win for the Broncos. Seahawks and Jets was a good one, close. Down to the wire. And Colts and Patriots was real good, even though both teams are unlikely to make the division. It was nice to see a last-minute drive by Anthony Richardson, and the Colts still have a shot to make the playoffs. If they can play like that, they definitely will. Some decent games. We had Cardinals-Vikings, a little disappointing since I built it up so much, but it was still all right. Steelers and Bengals, a good division rivalry. High scoring. If you like offensive scoring, it was definitely a good one. It just was kind of disappointing if you want some kind of defense, because even the Steelers defense just wasn't there this game. Texans and Jaguars, good division rival game. It's a little lower given that Mac Jones had to play because that bad hit on Trevor Lawrence. It would have been a lot better if he'd been healthy, but a bad hit knocked him out, so that game gets a little lower. And then Eagles-Ravens, it was the first half was good, but the second half was a blowout. The worst games, though, were probably most of the Thanksgiving's games. The Black Friday game, Raiders and Chiefs, was disappointing. Expected, but disappointing. Bears and Lions was close, but it was a bit of an odd one where the Lions blew them out in the first half, and then the Bears blew them out in the second half and almost won it. Giants and Cowboys was disappointing, though. It was relatively close, but just uninteresting and boring. And Chargers-Falcons, it was close in the first half, but the Chargers really ran away with it in the second half. And not a lot of touchdowns either. There was a lot of kicks. The worst games, though, we got Rams and Saints, 49ers and Bills, just a defensive stop. Titans and Commanders ended up being a blowout. Sorry, Tennessee. And the worst game, though, was probably Dolphins-Packers, the last on Thanksgiving. Just a uninteresting blowout for the holiday. But let's go into power rankings. I'm putting the Bills back at number 1. Broncos, I got you at number 2. Packers, I'm going to hold at 3. I think that it's going to be real close with Detroit, but given how they destroyed the Dolphins, they deserve to be up there with the Broncos and Bills. The Colts, I got at 4. I'm shooting them up, given that last touchdown drive by Richardson. I don't know if they can make the playoffs, but I definitely got them up here. 5 and 6, I got the Commanders and Eagles. I'm going to put the Commanders at 5, but it's essentially a tie. We'll see how this matchup goes when they meet each other again. The Steelers, I got at 7. Bengals and Cowboys, I got you guys at 8 and 9. I'm curious, they play this week, so we'll see who can stay in the top 10. Both of these teams have a lot of losses and are not making the playoffs, but I'm curious to see who can really go into playing spoiler and get a few wins and who's just going to go for the tank. And number 10, I have the Lions, just because you're good and I have to keep you in the top 10, but that second half against Chicago was bad, and I'm really worried about Detroit's defense, and I'm worried that the Packers offense is going to end up getting the win on Thursday. The Ravens, I dropped you guys out of the top 10. You've been a bit disappointing lately. Seahawks, still keeping you at 12. Looks like you're going to win the division. Saints dropping you to 13. There was a bad loss to the Rams, and it looks like we're officially done for the season. Probably going to fall even lower. Vikings hanging pretty at 14 still. Just they're winning, not pretty, but they have a chance still to win the number 1 seed. That's insane, but I'd say that 14's about, despite the wins, where they rank. 15, I got the Buccaneers. I still think you're the best in your division. 16, the Dolphins. Had to drop you a bit after that terrible game to the Packers, but I think the Dolphins are still looking to get some wins and at least make a shot at the playoffs. 17, the Chargers, kind of the same boat as the Dolphins. 18, the Cardinals, a little disappointing the last couple of weeks when I thought you guys would win the division, but the Seahawks will take it if you don't want it. 19, we got the Texans. They continue to be just disappointing every week. They seem like they're still going to beat the Colts for the division, but they have not looked very good. 20, the Chiefs. I know they're winning, but barely, and really, really lucky and time again. This game against the Raiders was another really lucky win, just like the Broncos. 21, I got the Rams. Put you guys a little higher, see what you can do before the end of the year. 22, the Jets. I'd say the Jets season's done. I think it's not officially over, but if they lose to the Dolphins, as I expect they will, I think that's when it'll be over. 23, the Panthers. Drop you guys a little bit just because of all the losses, but they've been playing really good and have made it tough for even good teams to win. 24, the Browns. Their defense, surprisingly, has just been really weak these last couple of times. 25, the Bears. We'll see how they do now that Eberflus is gone, but I think their season's essentially done. 26, the Patriots. I like Drake May. You guys are looking solid, but just not the worst team, but not the best team. 27, I got the Raiders. I keep abstaining from putting the Raiders in the bottom 5. I don't think they're a terrible team, but I think Brock Bowers keeps them out of the bottom 5. 28, the Niners. Yeah, you guys the season's done for the Niners. They're bad. They're really bad. And I think CMC got hurt. Yeah, so I think he's done for the season too. So on the bright side, their running back game has looked good with Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerendo, but I think that the season's done. 29, we got the Titans. Good win against the Texans last week, but it seems like that's all over now after the Commanders just humiliated you. 30, we got the Falcons. I'm really disappointed how they've looked the last couple of weeks. They seemed like they were going to win the division, be formidable, maybe win a playoff game, and then in these last few weeks they've just looked terrible. But 31 is the Giants and 32 is the Jags. I'm just curious to see who wins that tank bowl. All right. Finish on the games this week. Packers and Lions. I'm going to pick the Packers. I think it's in Lambeau. No, I think it's in Detroit. I don't know. If it is in Lambeau, I think that'll help the Packers. But ultimately, I think the defense of the Lions is what's going to ruin it for them. I think their offense is good enough to keep up with the Packers. But the Packers' defense is far better than the Lions' defense right now. The Jets and Dolphins. I'm picking the Dolphins. I think the Jets are done this season, and the Dolphins have, despite a lack of wins, a lot of potential left. The Falcons and the Vikings. Let's go Falcons. I want to see a Kirk Cousins revenge game. See the Falcons kind of do something near the end of the season and not just give up. And the Vikings, they don't deserve as many wins as they got. They should get a couple losses in there. Saints and Giants. I'm going to pick the Saints. I'm not quite up on them, giving up on them, but I'm not super high on them. I think the Giants are just done this year. But it would be shocking if they get a win against the Saints, and that'd be good for the Jaguars. Panthers, Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. They're on a nice win streak, although I do think with how the Panthers have been playing, they'll put up a fight, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Panthers get the win. Browns and Steelers. I see the Steelers getting revenge against Cleveland from a couple weeks ago. It's in Pittsburgh as well. Raiders, Bucks. Let's go with the Buccaneers. I think they have a really easy end-of-year schedule and should win the division. The Raiders, despite keeping them out of the bottom 5, and I'm sure Brock Bowers will have a great game, I think the Raiders are just done for the season. Jaguars, Titans. I'm picking the Titans. They always seem to do good against the Jaguars, and I think they're hungry for a win after losing so badly to the Commanders. And the Jaguars, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is playing the rest of the year, so I think the Jaguars are pretty much done. Seahawks and Cardinals. I'm going to pick the Cardinals just because we all know that Seahawks hate that stadium. Bills and Rams. I'm picking the Bills, obviously. I think they're going to win the number 1 seed in the AFC. Especially, all the Chiefs need to do is lose one game. I think the Bills are going to win out. Bears and Niners. I'm picking the Bears on this one. They always play the Niners well, and even though both of these teams look kind of done for the season. I want to see the Bears rally after losing their head coach and get a win against a bruised and battered Niners squad. Chargers and Chiefs. I'm picking the Chargers, getting revenge. They really should have won that first game matchup, but I think this will be their chance to get revenge in Arrowhead. And the Bengals and the Cowboys. The Tank Bowl, hard to say, because the winner of this is probably going to be more or less the loser of this. But I'm going to pick the Cowboys because I think they're dumb enough to go for more wins, and the Bengals are more likely the team to embrace the tank and just kind of finish the year out and look towards next year. And ultimately, the defense of the Bengals, I think, is just going to cost them. I think the CeeDee Lamb's just going to have a day against that defense. So those are the games for the week. We'll see. It's December football, always the best time, where if you fall apart now, it's a really embarrassing time of year, and we'll see who does good and stays on top.